Just hours before her debut as John McCain's running mate, campaign manager Steve Schmidt noticed something unusual about Sarah Palin's disposition.
She was very calm, nonplussed. I said, "You don't seem nervous at all about this." And she said, "No, it's God's plan."
Also in God's plan for Palin, contributor to Fox News. The network announcing Palin will not have her own show, but don't worry, she'll appear regularly on other shows. Palin issuing a statement on the Fox News website. "I am thrilled to be joining the great talent and management team at Fox News. It's wonderful to be part of a place that so values fair and balanced news." Palin's knack for Fox News-style truth-telling confirmed by Steve Schmidt on 60 Minutes.
She said things that were not accurate that ultimately the campaign had to deal with, and that opened the door to criticism that she was being untruthful and inaccurate. And I think that that is something that continues to this day.
Apparently not in God's plan, Joe Lieberman as McCain's running mate. As we reported Friday, the book Game Change reveals that Lieberman was McCain's choice for vice president until just days before the convention. So, in order to drum up support for a Lieberman pick, the McCain camp approached Karl Rove. But Rove thought it was a terrible idea. Rove took his concerns to Lieberman directly, pleading with the senator by phone to turn down the VP slot if McCain extended his hand. "You know him," Rove said. "He's so stubborn, he may simply get this in his mind and carry it to you, and you may be the only person who can save McCain from himself." Lieberman had no intention of taking Rove's advice. The McCain campaign made it easy for Lieberman and chose the unknown governor of Alaska instead. Still, Lieberman was called in to help with Palin's disastrous debate prep. Team McCain hoping the senator could help beef up Palin's foreign policy knowledge. After Schmidt gave Palin a reality check as to how things were going, he asked Lieberman to perform another unorthodox intervention. Go and pray with Palin. According to the book, Lieberman, an Orthodox Jew, provided Palin, a Pentecostal, with some Talmudic wisdom, spoke of God's relationship with man, and invoked the covenant of destiny. "Look," Lieberman said kindly, "you got to be saying to yourself, what am I doing here? How did this happen? This is your moment to make it really count for something." Palin seemed touched. "Joe," she said, "I can't figure any other reason I'm here except that I was meant to be here." Palin's sentiment of destiny similar to remarks made by the born-again 43rd president. And, according to Game Change, both Palin and Bush suffered from an affliction linguists call metathesis. Turns out she couldn't pronounce the word nuclear either. Joining me now is the Washington editor for The Week magazine and columnist for Bloomberg News, Margaret Carlson. Good evening, Margaret.
Hello, Lawrence.
Apparently, Nicole Wallace had to phonetically write out the word nuclear for Palin to pronounce it correctly. And we've already had one divinely directed conservative president who God could not teach, despite his best efforts, could not teach him to pronounce nuclear correctly. What's up with God and nuclear and Republican candidates? What's going on here?
Yeah, well, Nicole Wallace should have done the same for George Bush, and maybe it would have helped, but apparently no one, not Karl Rove, phonetically got that one down on paper for him. This is not what matters. Grammar and phonetics don't matter to the base of Sarah Palin's support. They prefer that you not have this highfalutin desire to pronounce things correctly. It's endearing. Bush's base didn't hold it against him. Palin's base doesn't hold it against her. But, nuclear it's a tough one, I guess, for a certain kind of politician.
And what are we to make of Joe Lieberman's varied and strange role in the McCain campaign?
Well, only, I guess, in contrast to McCain, would Lieberman look reasonable. Karl Rove couldn't, the Bushes and the McCain camp never really made peace, even though there were moments during the Bush administration when it looked that way. So it's an example of just how fraught that relationship was, that Karl Rove would go to, well, then a Democrat, not a Republican in name only, not one at all, to Lieberman directly and plead with him rather than plead with McCain and his staff.
And you got to love that moment. They go to Karl Rove to perform a very important exercise for them, and of course, Karl Rove goes the other way. Behind their back, he simply makes the other argument to Lieberman. How shocked were you at that, to discover Karl simply went with his own agenda?
Yeah. A double agent. Oh, really shocked. And that Lieberman, by the way, wanted to be vice president.
Yeah. Now, we have, of course, and I think there's no surprise about this, more revelations about just the breadth of Sarah Palin's ignorance about the world beyond Alaska, not knowing that there's a North Korea and a South Korea, and there's a border there, kind of a important border, thinking Saddam Hussein attacked us on 9/11. Who could blame her for that one?
Right.
But I mean, this will never hurt her with her base, will it? As these demonstrations of ignorance on subjects like this,
it will never hurt her, and it makes people like us who talk about it, inflame the Tea Party activists who support her. How dare we ever say anything about not knowing things? I mean, Sarah Palin is the latest in the line of populists, but she's very different in one way. Populists historically have pretended not to know anything. They've actually been part of a fairly intellectual group of people, but she really doesn't know anything, and it's in God's plan, apparently, that she not learn anything.
And she's going to go to a network where they won't be bothering to issue any corrections for her on-air mistakes.
Right.
Margaret Carlson of Bloomberg TV and The Week magazine, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Lawrence.